Yesterday I went to a furry event with my boyfriend, and I think now I got the ick. I feel bad for that. I didn't even know what a furry exactly was before I met him. We were together for literally 3 whole years until we moved in together. I found one of his furry outfits while I was helping him move his clothes into our apartment. At first I thought that maybe at some point he had worked in children's shows or selling things in the subway in my country. It is normal to see people in costumes selling things. Then I also found a common foxtail and thought it was something kinky, but it's not. He got nervous and confessed to me that he is a furry. I looked at him like, what the F is a furry? Anyway, he explained to me that years ago he created his fursona, and it is a hobby that makes him feel at ease and happy. He said that he hid it from me because he was embarrassed and scared that I might leave him or laugh at him. He's a serious and professional man, not the kind of person who would dress like that. I assured him that I wasn't going to leave him and that I love him. That knowing my boyfriend uses a fox suit was the least attractive thing in the world, but I support his hobby. I didn't really think much about it. Did it seem weird to me? Yes, but at the time I thought I loved him so much that I was going to support him. It's just a hobby he does rarely, so it's not like he talks about that in our day by day. Neither is his way of being himself. He said he just likes to do the character, and it's not something with a deep meaning. It's been a year since that, and he's invited me to a furry event for the first time. I've never gotten into furry events. I hadn't seen him wearing his suit either. He wears it very rarely because it's not my thing at all, but he invited me really excited and shy. I couldn't refuse to go with him because I also wanted to go and see what it's like and know that world. But when we got there it was like, oh, this is getting real, when I saw him park the car and put on his suit. I didn't have a suit, so my face was totally visible when we got out of the car a few streets back and had to walk through the city center like that. I felt embarrassed, even if it's awful to say that. First we met his furry friends who were waiting in a park for him, and I found out that my boyfriend has a name that he uses when he's in character. They were nice, but no, it's not an everyday thing to see your boyfriend using a pet name, dressed as a fox, and talking to other people who are also like that. Although some didn't have a suit, just a tail or nothing. I felt embarrassed because people around obviously walked by and laughed or looked curiously. A few minutes later we finally went to the place of the event, and it wasn't that many people but a large group. Most of them without a suit and just wearing tails or just a mask. I know it's wrong to say it, but a lot of those people smelled musty. Long hair so greasy you could fry an egg on it. Just weird people. Years ago I accompanied my sister to an otaku event, and it was 95% the same kind of people. Like weird in the wrong way. I've never been in that kind of environment. My boyfriend isn't like that at all. He's attractive, smells good, has a normal life and work, and I don't think anyone would expect him to be a furry, so it was my first time seeing other furries in person beside him. At one point some of them started playing at removing each other's tails, some were doing choreographies and TikToks, some of them liked to do high jumps in For Not My BF. He was just walking around with me and just letting some people take pictures with him, and then did a TikTok with another person. You know what it's like to see your boyfriend do a choreo dressed as a blue fox while asking you to call him by his furry name and pet his head. I do know it, and it was impossible for me not to change the way I see him. I didn't feel comfortable in the place. It bothered me a lot since there were some using harnesses in their suits. What is sexy about an animal? Some artist stands had furry art, which was pretty explicit. My boyfriend dislikes that kind of art. For him his fursona is a performance, so I just felt even more weird because they're animals even if they call that a fursona. I felt weird, and since yesterday every time I see my boyfriend I can't help but think of him being part of those people and him dressed like that. I really love him, but I just feel like I got the ick, and I hate that because I always wanted to be the supportive girlfriend, but this is just too much. I don't want to talk about this with my boyfriend and make him feel ashamed of who he is and likes. I don't want to make him feel bad about my feelings. He's a great man. Really, the only time I felt tenderness yesterday was when he hugged me thanking me for support him in this. I just feel like the worst person in the world, and the last thing I want is hurt his heart, even if his friends are too weird for me. I just hope I can get over this icky feeling fast, but he's really happy and shows me pictures of the event telling me that we should go to another event together, and I just can't tell him that the last thing I want to do is go to one of those events again. I always supported him. I don't feel manipulated like some people says in the comments. I did wanted to go with him because I thought that maybe it was going to be fun. It wasn't. Edit. He's not into anything sexual. He told me that his character is a performative thing that he enjoys doing from time to time, but doesn't find it exciting or comfortable fetishizing a persona, because at the end of day, he's just making a character. Then he told me that for him, it's like a person getting aroused by being dressed as Mickey for a play. He can't feel like that and finds it weird. We literally live together and share the PC. If he had strange movements, I would notice them. He goes to those events very occasionally because he doesn't like the more weird side of furry. I know he's not a pervert, and no, my intuition doesn't tell me that he is that. My intuition just tells me that the people at that event smelled funny and that I don't want to set foot in that place again. Update. First of all, I never had any problem with him telling me after 3 years about this, and I said that in the first post. I always understood how afraid someone can feel to say who he is. Everyone has their secrets, and there's nothing wrong if you're not harming anyone with them. And after reading the comments people left on the post, I understand the fear that my boyfriend had. Some people even told me that he was grooming me. It's just disgusting, like if I couldn't defend myself. I didn't need to talk to my boyfriend because during the night he sat down to talk to me and apologized. He showed me that one of his friends told him that the organizers of the event changed, and that's why there were people with NSFW stuff. My boyfriend was also uncomfortable with that since the last time he went to that event those types of outfits were forbidden. He showed me pictures, and yes, the atmosphere and people looked different. They found out too about it because some people started to complain about that in the egg of the event. It seems that there's public-friendly events and others that aren't like that, but the new people in charge of the event just changed a lot of things. I confessed to him that I didn't feel comfortable either, and he was surprised because after all I was smiling all the time and pretending that everything was fine, which is true. We talked a lot, and he was very apologetic for how he behaved. Said he should have gone without the suit and should have shown me pictures of the place before we went. Honestly, I never showed him discomfort, and I was always with a fake smile, so I understand that he thought I was having a good time. My boyfriend just kept apologizing deeply. He said he didn't really knew how to react since it was the first time he had taken someone so important to an event, so he behaved that way. He apologized for not thinking about how I might have felt, and I apologized for not communicating my feelings too. I received literally more than 100 messages and comments telling me that my boyfriend is a pervert. I don't know much about the furry world, so I was disturbed when some people started to leave comments talking about things I didn't know about them. I had never distrusted him before. We share PC and I can use his cell phone whenever I want, but I am so stupid that it was difficult for me not to get carried away by more than 100 people telling me that I am dating a degenerate. I asked him if he doesn't really feel anything sexual by doing that. He never showed that, and from day one he made it clear to me that for him, it's just a character. He doesn't even behave like an animal when he's in character. He wanted me to pat his head as a cute gesture. He was clearly upset that I didn't trust him, but he ended up giving me his cell phone so I could check whatever I wanted. It made me feel worse to see that his chat with his furry friends wasn't even too active since they all have busy lives, but they said that I'm really cool and they liked me. The rest of his stuff was just about his work and me. I feel really stupid for letting my head be filled with comments from sad strangers. But my boyfriend told me that he actually understands why I feel that way. It happened to him too. In the past he had a furry girlfriend, but she did have a fetish with that, and that made him uncomfortable, so he ended the relationship. That's why my boyfriend doesn't date furry women. He says that the vast majority are weird people who ruin the community. He doesn't see his character as his true self, and he doesn't identify with those who do. For him, it's quite a character, like cosplaying, although he doesn't like anime or anything like that, so he prefers furry because he can do an original character. I said I was really sorry for thinking like that about him and told him about the post. He doesn't talk English, so I translated him some things, except the people who left weird comments. I promised him to have better communication with him about everything. I never felt manipulated, he never pressured me to do anything. I wanted to try to be part of his world, and no, I'm not a poor victim who fell into the clutches of a beast. Some people is really weird trying to look for a villain in every post. Someone even said that my boyfriend was love bombing me with pictures of the event to manipulate me. For God's sake, stop making up new terms and touch some grass. I just said that my boyfriend showed me pictures of the event because he was happy that I went with him, and all of a sudden he's Charles Manson. Do these people have loved ones? It's too weird. I'd rather embrace that eccentric side of him than ruin a cute relationship just because I don't share his hobby. I really like going to raves and he doesn't, but there's nothing wrong with that. We will have separated hobbies. I want to make a good live with him, far away from the furries with harnesses and the NSFW art. And I learned my lesson of never posting again in this kind of places. The last time I checked the post, one person got downvoted just because they said that we sound adorable. I guess that's the vibe in this app, haha. Thanks to the people who gave me good advices and was kind. Honestly, I stopped reading the post after a few comments. By the private messages I received, I know people really wanted an update about me leaving my boyfriend, but no, I want to think that actually this made us stronger. I want to be a better girlfriend for him and gift him clothes for his character. PD, I guess the Ike was just the shock I had because we had sex as usual. Why would I leave a hardworking, kind man who loves me devotedly just because he has a hobby that I can't relate to? The blue fox is still mine, and I love him even more. Next story. I know that my husband is cheating on me with my best friend, but if I left, he will take half. I am a 40-year-old mother of a baby girl who is 5. I have been married to my husband for 12 years. About 10 years ago, I started my business, and it is my pride and joy. I love my life and I enjoy my work. 2 years ago, I lost my beautiful mother to breast cancer. It all happened in 5 weeks, and she was so young. 55 years old. It sent me into shock and depression. A short while before that, my best friend found out that her husband cheated and he left her for his mistress. It was a hard time, and my best friend and I became even closer than ever before. She moved in with me for a while after my mother passed because I wasn't really functioning and she was homeless. I started with antidepressants that killed my sexual needs. I felt guilty for my husband, but I really couldn't do anything but try to be healthy again as soon as possible. My best friend lived with us for 1 year and they started sleeping together towards the end of that year. That's when I got home early and heard them. I ran out in shock. I came back a few hours later pretending nothing happened. I managed to smoothly find her a place because I couldn't bear it happening in my home, my sanctuary, my happy place where I live with my daughter. My best friend had already found herself a job, and I took the opportunity to find her the apartment near her job. She was grateful. I was a bit more relieved. The affair is still going on. If I leave, he will take half. It will ruin me and my business and what I am trying to build for me and my baby. No, I don't want to leave. It is so unfair that he is the one cheating, and I am the one who will pay if I said anything. I refuse, so I am letting it happen. Instead, I wrote him off as my companion and safety blanket. I still have lots to be grateful for: my baby, my family and my beautiful home, and my business. Most of the time, I am content and happy, even though I myself don't know how I am doing it. Maybe it is numbness or resignation, or maybe it is true contentment. But sometimes, when everything is 100 times magnified, I can barely contain my panic. Especially at night when he wakes me up because I am crying. Again, "Are you having a nightmare?" And he tries to kiss and cuddle me to make me feel safe. I'm here. You're safe. I wish I could tell him that my nightmares are my escape from my reality with him, and that his shoulders aren't safe. He rarely asks why I am crying. He probably thinks it is Mom, because that's what I tell him. But sometimes I feel like he knows, or that he can't help himself wondering. What's going on behind those eyes? What do you mean? I can't read your face anymore. See, you are silent again. When I look at him, he immediately looks away like he is scared he would turn into stone and says, "I miss you, that's all." My panic has increased more these past few months since he started paying me attention again. The first period after Mom's passing, he never bothered me out of courtesy, I suppose. Never asked for intimacy. Then he had her, so he didn't need me. But now, I don't know what changed. They're still together, so what does he want from me? Is he testing me? I never understood why they're doing what they're doing either. I have seen their texts. There's no love there, no respect, no warmth. Not what I would expect from two people who are sleeping together, especially not when the stakes are so high. You would think that they love each other so much that they're willing to pay the price in case they're caught. No, there's a lot of anger, fighting and resentment. A lot of guilt and self-hatred. He calls himself and her disgusting and shells of a human being. Is that too some sort of love? I don't know why I am writing here. I googled about infidelity and self-help, and I ended up in this community, and I read tens of similar stories. Maybe I would feel better writing my own down. Please don't think too ill of me. I know that I am pathetic, but I used to have more dignity. Additional information from OP on speaking with a lawyer regarding her assets. I have already talked to a lawyer. I contacted one half an hour after I heard them in my bed. I have discussed many options during the months, and none gives me full control of my life and company. One was a postnuptial agreement, of course, but why would he just sign one? We discussed maybe I confess to him that I know about them, hoping that he would want to do anything to save the marriage, including a postnup. But this is leaving too much to chance and to someone who could easily cheat on me, but also it doesn't feel right to lure him into signing, then go ahead with divorce anyway. I can't be this malicious. My other option is one of my family members buy in, my dad or brother for example, like 10%. It would leave me with majority in case of divorce, and I could buy him out eventually. But again, I leave much to chance and no control over the outcome. Mostly I am not looking forward to seeing my husband's real face, which I believe I will when I ask for divorce. If he did this to me when he pretended to love me, then how would he act when he doesn't need to pretend anymore? Do I want my baby to see her parents at their worst this early? Not sure. Maybe I am just obsessing as usual. Update. Hi everyone. I have made a post previous to this a few weeks ago. Thank you for the support and the many suggestions. If you want the details, please read that one first. I promise that I will make this one very short and simple. I have taken 2 measures to protect myself and my daughter when my husband and I get a divorce to protect my assets and my daughter's future. I am sure many will find my methods to be dubious, and honestly, it is fine with me. All's fair in love and war, and this is a bit of both. I told my father everything. He was horrified, but a bit relieved that he finally found out what's been hurting me. We have discussed the possibility that he could buy into my business in case I need to divide, so he and I have the bigger share and still can make the decisions. Then I have agreed to my husband's suggestion of seeing a marriage counselor. He talked about my mom's passing and how it affected me and my mentality. He kept talking about me building walls and being distant, and how he was longing for me to come back to him. I just wondered while he talked what he would do if I told him that I knew. Would he still complain about my walls or finally understand them? I opened up about my mom's illness and how it affected me. Not only the losing her part, but the fact that my grandmother and great-grandmother passed the same way. It kept me thinking that I have inherited this and passed it down to my daughter, and the guilt and fear that I have been feeling. I chose to have my daughter fully aware of the risks. What was I thinking? Since the counseling, we have been talking more in our day-to-day, and I just honestly told him that my business was one of the stressors in my life. that I am always worried that if I didn't fix our marital issues, and he wanted to leave me, it would change my career and future, while his wouldn't because he is government employee. This was 2 weeks ago. The day after, he sat me down and told me that he wanted a postnuptial agreement to make me feel more secure. He wanted me to be with him because I wanted to, not because I had to. I talked in my first post about my house, etc., but I really don't care about that anymore. Everything else can be marital property, and honestly, I started to hate this house and I can't wait to leave it. So next move is starting the separation. I am aiming for the end of this year, and then only the hardest part is left. Telling my daughter that mommy and daddy won't be living together anymore. I am not looking forward for that part. Next story. Something went on between my F32 husband M32 and my sister F26. What do I do? My head's a mess ATM, so please excuse me if I'm all over the place. Yesterday morning my husband quickly got a bag ready without me seeing, came to me and told me my sister sucked his penis, and that he thought it would be best if he left for a while and gave me space. That was it? I've pretty much been left in the dark since. He seemed very stressed and upset. I just stood there a little dumbfounded. My sister has been going through a very hard time the last few weeks and has spent a lot of time at ours, initially with her partner, but around a week ago they started having issues, so she just came and unloaded their problems. She came over Sunday night and ended up staying over. But I didn't notice them slipping away together at any time. So far the only communication I've had with my husband has been about our child. I've asked him over and over what's going on, and all he tells me is he is still trying to figure it out. What is there to figure out? I can't believe that just like that everything I know is in tatters. Everything we've built together, everything we have, he's chosen to throw it all away. And to just tell me like that and leave, I'm totally heartbroken. I never in a million years saw this coming. I also thought me and my sister had a stronger relationship as well. The betrayal from her has me feeling so lost right now. I've seen many a horror story on here with infidelity, and stupidly now I'm in this situation. I have absolutely no idea where I go from here. I know everyone will tell me to leave him, but it's more complicated when there's kids' housesa business involved, and I don't even know what's went on. No one will talk to me. The mental pictures are driving me insane. I'm not ready to talk to friends or family yet, so I'm asking Reddit, what the F do I do? Restarting life at 32 sounds like a nightmare. Edit. Many people suggesting I move money, restrict accounts. In a pathetic move, I text him again to ask what's going on and to please talk to me before I contact lawyers and secure my accounts, thinking this would get a reaction. He replied simply saying do what I need to do and that he can come back tonight to explain what happened. Depending on how this goes, I may or may not make an update post. I just don't get why I'm getting the runaround. Update. I wasn't going to do this, but I have had and am still getting lots of comments and messages for an update, so here we are. I've since spoken to my sister. Husband came home that night as well. He packed a bag with more stuff and sat down with me and told me what happened. We have rentals, and he was staying in one that's currently empty. A lot of you were right. My sister straight up assaulted him. I'll try and keep this short, but I'll add some extra details I missed on my first post to clear things up. This all happened on Sunday. She has been going through a lot the past month, so this has been a regular thing, and the past few weeks things were getting worse with her partner, so lots of venting. She said several times that night she didn't want to go back home, and told us that before she left she also told her partner not to try and contact her because she was going out to get a break from him. My husband smokes a ton of cannabis and this year started buying the oil, I think it is, and making his own caping cartridges illegal country. That's why he makes his own. He mixes various strengths for during the day and much stronger ones for the afternoon. The whole night he was on the strong one and passed it around. We were all definitely feeling it, so I stopped, and they continued well into the night. I said him getting ready to call it a night and everyone agreed. I got up to see to the dogs. We have a litter of puppies that we've set up space for in the garage. I was gone maybe 5 minutes. Came back out to my husband on his own. Said my sister was in a bad way with the oil, so she went to bed. That's when we went to bed. He got up in the morning and left. My husband said this was when it happened. Out of nowhere, she grabbed the waist of his trousers, yanked them down and went to town. Went as far as to actually grab his hands as if to stop him going anywhere. It lasted maybe 5 seconds before he managed to get up. He asked her what the F she was doing. She just said sorry and went to bed. I knew going into this I was probably going to get lied to, but fortunately we have security cameras all around the house and the whole ordeal was on camera. He pulled it up on the iPad and showed me. I didn't actually want to see the act, but he insisted. He's terrified that even with proof, he's still going to be labeled as if he pursued this. He thinks that I'm going to leave him regardless and that he deserves it. He's scared he's lost his family and everything we have. My sister's partner left his last relationship due to infidelity, and my husband is ill over the fact that he feels responsible for it happening again. My husband is okay, but feels totally guilty in all of this and doesn't want the fallout to happen at all. He wishes everyone could just forget it ever happened and go on like normal, and I've told him there's no way that's going to happen. I finally got to talk to my sister. She hadn't blocked me, just ignored my calls and texts. We text her through my husband's phone, and while doing that I noticed she had actually texted him a few times since this happened. Literally just a chain of, "I'm so sorry I've effed up. I'm so sorry I don't know what happened." Still nothing to me. Anyway, she called, we put her on speaker, and I asked her what happened, thinking she was going to lie. But she ended up saying the same thing my husband did. She couldn't give me a reason as to why. She cried the entire phone call. Woe is me. We all hate her now, etc. But yeah, no reason. She doesn't know why she done it. It was the biggest mistake of her life. Apparently, she called in sick for work and has just spent the days driving around aimlessly, hoping a freak accident would take her out. I lost it, went completely angry on her. My husband kept trying to defuse it, which just got me more annoyed. We had it out because I felt like he was defending her. His argument is that she is obviously not in a great place, and he doesn't want anyone in the position that they feel like they need to hurt themselves or worse. This did not calm me down and am not proud of it, but I did go on to send her several texts telling her exactly what I thought of her. We also told her to speak to her partner because we planned to tomorrow, and it would be much better coming from her than from us. My husband really does not want to have that conversation with him. So that's pretty much where we're at. An utter crap show. Me and my husband will get through it together. I've made sure he knows I'm on his side. We'll suggest therapy for him, but ultimately it's his choice. I don't see my sister's partner sticking around. Our kids are very close and see each other a lot. I'm not really sure what will happen there, but it's not fair on the kids losing out on that relationship. We have a lot to work out. Thank you for all your comments. A lot of you actually said this is what it sounded like happened, so I was sure to be as understanding as I could be. Wish us luck. Edit, to expand a bit on the cameras. Yes, in the back of my head, I know the cameras are there, but they were there before we moved in, and I really don't think about them. They are only outside the house. I have no idea how to actually check recorded footage. Husband has always dealt with them, and I had no idea when or where this actually happened. I have told him he has every right to press charges, but he's adamant he does not want the police or anything involved. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel James Stories.